Okay. Um, so, first of all, I just want to say thank you, God. And I need to say that as much as I can while I can, because maybe one day I'll, in sounding the way these people sound, the humiliation of reality and the fact that they're being humiliated by reality. As target individual, the purpose that involved in my targeting wanted to paint this picture that cannot be subscriptive to. They wanted to me for some reason wanted me to see them as this like this thing, this psyop they've created, but seeing the reality of what these people are really part of and what this is really about, um, and understanding that what they go with is what they can manipulate me to experience. And with the manipulations, this is how they were trying to make me accept these manipulations. And it's just nastiness. I mean, I'm just thankful that somehow, some way, I did not involve myself in this program in the way that these people are involved themselves, in the sense that they participate in this program that is really mastering and, you know, improving on very sophisticated technology that's already very advanced, but continuous improvement and development is needed to continuously improve how precise this technology is. I understand what I am to this program. I'm a target individual, meaning I'm a human subject in a program where these governmental entities are utilizing this technology onto us as test subjects. And test subject in the sense that it's just the more samples they use, the better it gets. They need people to continuously be there so they can apply this technology onto us this way. And I'm sure the purpose is to get the results that helps improve this technology. And with that being said, this is obviously run by governmental entities. But they try to paint a different reality in order for the target individual to believe something else. I think it helps these manipulations. It helps them create this manipulation and make you believe a false reality, so they can make you believe these manipulations as if it's you. I think if they were presenting themselves as obviously like, we're this governmental entity who's doing this test subject, using test subjects to improve technology to manipulate the mind, you probably won't believe it. Like you probably won't believe what you're experiencing as like this is what you're manipulating. But when they present themselves like, no, what we're doing is like we're minding you, we're trying to find out who you are, or you're paying for what you've done. In that case, they think that I'm going to subscribe to these manipulations, right? And these perps who are contracted by these governmental entities then do whatever they need to do to try to make you believe this fantasy they put together, like literally yelling on top of their lungs to try to believe something and try to get you to accept this manipulation that you are being validated, that they do that to people, and do whatever they need to do to disorient you so that you never see things for what they are but get confused in their disorienting tactics. Because the truth is they are manipulating you. They are making you experience things that you will not experience naturally. You will not organically react this way, but they are forcing you to experience this way. Because this technology has the ability to have you react the way they want you to. And it gets worse and worse with time because you are more, because not only they're manipulating you, they are conditioning your brain too. So the manipulation becomes even easier and easier for them. And then you have perps who then, to make you be more accepting of this manipulation, try to make you feel guilty of what and how they're making you react. It is disgusting. There are low-life bottom feeders that have understood that I'm sure the time will come for them to get theirs. They understand. But in the midst of doing that, they in the deluded reality that they think they're gods, when they're just trash who sold their soul to these governmental entities that have empowered them to participate in something that gives them a sense of godlike feeling. Meaning that the ability to manipulate a human being And not only the manipulation of that human being, but everything around that person is orchestrated, manipulated. But doing this remotely, which gives them this cowardness that can be make them believe in all this fantasy and wanting to sound mystical when they're just nothing, childlike individuals, weak bottom feeders who knows what's going on in their life. Not all of some of them have the issues. They have depressions. They have other instabilities that they need to medicate for. But once they're involved in this, the empowerment that they get is surreal. Um, I know that with me, my body is being destroyed. So this technology does not only impact the body and the brain specifically, but also your organs. They can, you truly are a guinea pig, and you're truly this human subject for this governmental entity that's doing so much to you, not only psychologically and manipulating your brain and doing whatever they can to have the ability to manipulate your brain, which this is obviously the most crazy part. This is definitely the most advanced aspect of it, is the ability to rewire your brain, to manipulate your brain in ways that you will not experience this in whatever ways. But they also do these things to your body, which is also is very sophisticated and advanced. Maybe not to the level of the ability to manipulate the mind, but the ability to destroy your organs without getting, like, I don't have a cut, like external cuts, but I know my organs are being destroyed. I know they can do precise things to my organs, to destructive things to my organs. Matter of fact, not only destructive things, once they do the destructive things, they can even make you not feel this impact they've done to you. I don't know if it's actually fixing the issue, or making you feel like you're not feeling it. But it feels like they can treat what they've created, as in they can make you have this nasty the thing that you experience in your body, in your organs. For example, I feel like my organs are somewhat failing sometimes, and then sometimes I feel okay. I feel like nothing, like I feel like I'm fine. So this technology can also do that. This, like, surgical procedures that aren't impacting your skin, like your the layer of your skin. There's no cut, incision, or nothing. But I know they're doing things to my body. I can feel the effect of it. Matter of fact, as I'm speaking, the saliva I'm getting, it's obvious that they're doing something to my organ for me to have so much saliva coming out of my mouth. I can literally feel this. They do so much stuff to you, it's just ridiculous. And my bones, my hip, for example, my joints, my hips, I feel like they're spraying them away. Like they are making me crippled, but very slowly. I know they can do that in 2 seconds, but they are just slowly crippling me. Very slow, a slow process. But nobody is literally doing anything to me, as in, like, in person. So this technology can do so much to a human being remotely. Obviously, to me, what is the most advanced aspect of it is the mind manipulations. That is where perhaps the sophistication is very shown. Because you can believe all these other things about how your body can be manipulated remotely in regard of what they can do to your body, how they can hit your body. This is easier to digest, to comprehend. But the manipulation of the mind shows the level of sophistication that is just to another level. And so for me, the reason why I make videos is just because they want you to identify with the manipulations. And the manipulations has been very specifically disturbing, because it seems like it's part of the way they try to break you down. It seems they have tactics. They have tactics that are specific to target individuals in ways they want them to break down, to rebuild them. And they have the same, like, tactics in regard of, like, what you're going to experience, somebody else experienced this tactic as they were trying to break her or him down. to rebuild them into something else. So they have this systematic ways, just like when you do like a test subjects, like you give them the exact same thing, and you see the result and adjust to the result. That's when you know that this is like systematically done, and this is obviously the technology itself speaks for itself to let you know that this is obviously governmental entities. It's not some random whatever psyop they try to create. That this level of sophistication doesn't come from just random group of private entities. Like, you understand that we talk about DARPA level technology, which this is not the technology that you can find anywhere, except if DARPA or DoD is providing you this information or providing you this technology. Especially when you see who's talking to you. It's like she's basically childlike, mentally behind, look like they have mental disorder, talking to you. You obviously see these people like you're just. So for me, it's been very disturbing, and this disturbingness is part of how they want me to break down. It's just nonstop. It's part of the stress they want you to have, the destructive reaction that they want you to experience psychologically. It's psychological torture, to be honest. And this torture is meant to break you down and then start molding you in different ways. It's so nasty. Like I said before, for me, it's been very pedophilia-centric, but it's been like that for others too. So it's not unique to me. The pedophilia type of torture is what you just experience, you heard other experience. That is forced onto us target individuals and try to make you accept and rationalize these ways of reacting. Try to find how can we make this person believe that these manipulations are something that should be rationalized in certain ways. Like, as in identifying and rationalizing to this reaction that is forced onto you. And so for me, they will try to present themselves as this like femme fatale and this and that, and it's like they have this weird psyop that just doesn't even make sense. It just didn't even make sense in the first place. There's something just was off, and they don't care how stupid it sounds, how obvious it sounds like it's just not what it seems to be. They continuously and systematically, continuously do the same thing in hope that at one point you're going to believe this bullshit. That this is obviously not this governmental entity that has been doing that to so many others. And they want you to see them as this protective group when they're just trash. Because this is really using human subjects as test subjects. And the test subjects are not only men, but women and children. All ages, and they do this nastiness onto them. Abusing even children in ways that you cannot comprehend. This technology that can do things to you physically in remotely, can hurt your body, can do all these horrible things, is applied onto children to create the same result. Sometimes not even just the result on the child, but on the parents, because breaking down the target individual is important. And what is worse to you as a father or mother to see your child going through some horrible things that you can't do anything else. You can't do nothing about. It brings the stress that all the psychological torture that I'm experiencing can times 3, times 10. Because me, for example, they do this nasty, disturbing psychological torture, but I don't have to be like this. It's just a still not like it's disturbing, but it would be worse if they were torturing a child of mine and I was there and couldn't do anything about it. That level of stress is another level that is just beyond. That's probably the level that will make me want to be very aggressive and want to do something. So imagine they do that to children, and the torture is disturbing. We talk about sexual torture, making the child feel sexual pain for the purpose of this creating these distresses, this torment that is meant to help with the breaking down of the human mind so they can rebuild it. They are nasty. Infants, babies. This is the trash that involved in this. So they have these tactics of harming people in ways to not only physically but psychologically. The most disturbing psychological torture is obviously pedophilia type of torture. That's why you hear these people doing that often. As I'm saying that right now, they're doing things to my organs. My saliva is just coming out so much. Excuse me. So, as I'm saying that, um, this reality is what they try to make the target individual believe. They want this. They want target individuals to not think about this in these ways, right? And so, as I'm saying these things, that is obviously the reality of what they're part of. I am hearing the interactions via V2K, voice to call, is this DoD technology that can project voices remotely, and it sounds just directly going to your brain. And you hear this person tell me, oh, this is gonna be our hell and everything else. Because as I bring up the fact that they torture children for the purpose of this program, he doesn't want to bring that reality. He doesn't want me to bring up these facts. That's what they do. He wants me to not think about what the reality of what they're part of what they're capable of doing and what they are doing. So he tells me about how I'm going to be framed and the hell I'm going to go through. Not because he wants me to know about this hell at this moment. It's because he doesn't want me to talk about the fact that torture, this technology, is applied onto children for the result they want the target individual to experience. So that's why he's doing it. That's his job, is to counter reality. Because the foulness of what he's part of is disgusting. That's why you hear the siren. This is part of this governmental entity's program. Right? He wants me to be like, no, we're different. The psyops is just so comical. And I think some of these perp use that to cope with reality. I mean, some of them have experience to doing that to even women, even children. And we just still participate in this, and like in the sense of like, oh no, this is gonna be our hell. We're different. We are not doing this thing to women or children when they themselves have experience doing that to women and children. They have hands-on experience and expertise harming children using this defense technology, harming women using this defense technology. So this is the constant ways they try to disorient the target individual because they want you to identify with these manipulations. And it will be hard to identify to something when you know the people applying, implementing this onto you are these people who are doing that to even children and women. So they don't want you to think about it. Because when you think about it, you're like, these are the people who are trying to make you identify with these manipulations. These same people capable of torturing children and women are telling you who you are. As I'm saying that, contracted individuals from these contracted perps, these civilians, live around you. And as I'm speaking about this thing, because they want you to not see the reality of them being involved in a program that is doing these horrible things to children and women, and some of them have experience doing that themselves. Some next door neighbor opens the door and says something about being horny. And let me say what this comes from. As I said, these people are foul human beings. You have to establish that immediately. You have to see them for the truth bottom feeders that they are, regardless of how they present themselves. They're going to try to present an aspect or a psyop of some sort. And they're going to try to make you believe that this, what they do, is normal. So they tell me how they're going to frame me, right? And for me, it's like at this point, is this trash is trash. What you expect trash going to do? You got to expect people who are capable of torturing children and women, that framing you is nothing. You gotta expect that people involved in the program that does these horrible things to infants, that framing you is nothing. You have to understand that people who involve themselves in a program that manipulate the brain in these disturbing ways, that framing you is nothing. You gotta understand that the horribleness that they involve, mass shootings pushed by these bottom feeders, that framing you is nothing. That they work for entities, governmental entities, that are so compromised in disturbing ways, that framing you is nothing. You have to understand these people have completely disgraced themselves, live in this shameful reality that they counter, that framing you is nothing. You know, at one point they would tell me how they're gonna have me be intimate and with somebody, and this person's gonna give me some kind of STI. Saying that like that, and I believe that they could definitely do that. Matter of fact, I need to. There's certain people that I interacted with. I want to make sure that I get the result. I don't know if it's true or not. Sometimes they just kind of want you to be anxious, but it's better to be safe, because I know that people who can do all this horrible thing I just said, that is nothing. There is nothing too low. And this governmental program is set in a ways that people can do the foulest things and still think they're normal. They can still normalize some of the most disgusting things because the way this governmental program is structured. Not only one person is going to do one foul thing. They are in an environment where this foul thing is now turning to something normalized. But you see some of for me at least, when I see who's talking to me, like, yo, it didn't take much for you. Like, some people, like, would take a little bit more to kind of make somebody do something in certain ways. For the people I see, sometimes I'm like, yo, for you, 2.5 seconds, you looking like, some of these people, like, they have chip on the shoulder. Like, they want to feel special. They're like these childlike individuals who in reality they're nobodies. They are people looking for something to feel special about, and that makes them even more aggressive. And it says like, oh, we got to make it like this. This is war. Now they start making themselves believe this fantasy, because the war is really just who can continuously improve this technology better. So it's not war against the target individual. It's not war against the subject. We're just a test subject. Maybe the war is about who's going to help move this technology even further ahead. That's the only war I can imagine, or the war of blocking out reality. But test subject, we're just going to go through the formalities that's implemented onto us. So let me just start with saying thank you, God, as I said before, because thank you, God, I'm not the one living this life where I do these nasty things in the almost ease. It's easy to do what they do. These people are not, they're not really, it's not lack of comfort that that is missing. It's easy. They do things remotely. They don't have to be seen. The technology they utilize onto us is governmental provided technology that gives them the ability to do these things to us remotely. So it's not because it's tough. You might just need to put some effort, dedicate some time, but time is what they have. So it's easy to do what they do. I'm not going to look at them like, wow, such a fierce woman, sorry, such a fierce man, such a fierce individual, just a loser who chose this easy way. And for you want to hold on tight and make yourself believe that now you're a winner, in the sense that what's going to happen to me is going to happen to me regardless. Yes, because the government is running this program. It's just literally formalities. There's nothing I can do. Matter of fact, I'd make it even easier because I'm not the type of target individual who just move around, try to find a way to survive. I'm not trying to do that. I'm here. I know the people around me are perps. I know they are doing things to frame me, to create this false reality. I know they're trash. I've called them pedophiles in their faces. I've seen how nothings they are. So I'm looking at them, and I've been right a lot. Now, thank you God that I'm not a perp, in the sense that I work for these governmental entities that using human subjects as test subjects, as subjects in order to improve this technology, which include children and women. And thank you God that I don't have to partake in a program that this does these manipulations. That's so disgusting for me. I'm gonna continuously say that. It's funny, somebody just said they're God, like they're calling themselves gods. If you see who's saying that, my friend, I'm telling you, they are very childlike people. Like I said, chip on the shoulder, wanting to live this deluded reality. You see, probably on some kind of antidepressant or something like that. But you, the tactics they use is very pedophilia centric, big time pedophilia centric, coming from governmental entities that have a lot of pedophilia centric issues. You know, I keep bringing up this ranking that Child Protective Service has provided and given to this DoD network. You know, Child Protective Service, this internet child porn watchdog entity that's meant to protect children, online child protective services, in 2018 was reviewing all this network in the United States and ranked and keep ranking consistently the DoD as a top tier in regard to child pornography being shared within the network, the internet network. Ranking in 2018 19th out of 3,000, out of 2,900 to be specific. Actually, to be even more specific, out of 2,891 networks. So, pedophilia is truly rampant in this area, and it's not only the DoD but also the CIA, which also is involved in this. There's an expertise that comes from both CIA and the DoD, specifically DARPA, but also DoD has the funding, the financial aspect to contract these bottom feeders who are feeling so empowered. Takes a lot of money. And the DoD is the one entity that has the capability to afford this level of program, not only with the technology, but with the financial aspect of things. You heard the honking, you heard the sirens and all of that. This is, it's obviously that this level of orchestration comes from Department of Defense level. That is also global, which are the same entities with extreme issue with pedophilia. Extreme. I mean top tier level. As in being ranked in the top tier. Just find the percentile of that. Being 19th out of 2,900. What does it make you in the regard of like this, on the level of how like top you are? It's up there. Really, really up there. So it's not even, you're not even like, you're really, really. So those entities are utilizing these tactics, which is so disturbing. I am dealing with the pedophilia type of torture, which is so disgusting. They make me experience these things. And then they try to make me accept these things. Where now, what we're doing, that's how you felt when you're a kid. We're just making you feel something you felt. Little girls, I woke up with this nastiness. Every movement I have when I'm in bed is rewired to make me experience some kind of disgusting reaction. They rewire your brain. I think one person says, I know my body's rewired too, like I'm not doing things properly. My body doesn't, it seems like my body's breaking down. But they also rewire my brain. And I heard this trash via V2K tell me, oh, we're rigging you. And I said, I don't know if she's talking about just the organs, the physiology of it, but also my brain is being rigged. Meaning that they are putting things places where they shouldn't be, and then kind of rewiring, just mixing things around that shouldn't be mixed around for me to get these disgusting reactions, and conditioning me to non-stop. When I wake up, the stretch, I just like when I won't feel like stretching, if I stretch a little bit a certain way, they play with my genitals, and when they play with my genitals, I feel like a weird stimulation, and then the stimulation then connected to some children. literally training my brain consistently in these pedophilia ways. And then they send these retards that start interacting with me via V2K to try to get you to accept these things. Calling you a pedophile when the reality is these people are the pedophiles. In so many ways. Not only the fact that these entities running this program are filled with pedophiles. So much. There is a huge issue of pedophilia in these entities. And then you hear these childlike individuals. Some of them look like this. You gotta see. The ones I have captured here are not even as bad. So, sometimes I wish I captured those who are talking to me, because some of them are just like in another level. It's like so like childlike. It's surreal. Let me show you. This is the kind of people, and then they have this like weird, like they think that looking at their phone makes you acceptive of what you're experiencing, because you experience this thing that they control you to experience. So you have these people like that, childlike people. And this is not the worst. I wish I could have taken pictures of some of then looking at their phone, and in their mind, like, oh no, we just captured something. No, they are manipulating the brain, and then wanting you to accept this manipulation. So they think by looking at their phone, what's happening is like, oh my gosh, this just saw what happened to you. You see, look at their phone. Clowns. They're so child-minded, but even adult men and women are doing the same thing, looking at their phone as if their phone now, because it's on their phone, now it's not a manipulation. But what they're trying to do is like, oh my gosh, we just saw, oh look at me, and they make sure they're like on, like I remember going downstairs, and somebody, they were doing nastiness, as always. It's 24/7. It's conditioning type of disturbing manipulations that are pedophilia-centric. I'm going downstairs, get my laundry, and I see somebody just like, he wants to be seen, and he just like move close to me, like facing me, and just looking at his phone close, like saying, I just saw this. Oh, look at me, look at my phone. As if because this guy is looking at his phone, now I should be identifying. It's like, yeah, I know you know that my brain is just being manipulated in these disgusting ways, and you're involved in this. It's like gimmicky. Now, it's not going to stop what's going to happen to them, to me. It's just supposed to make me identify with these things. So for me, it's just like, okay, I understand this game. It's manipulations. Like I said, for me, it's been very pedophilia-centric. Matter of fact, there was this, I wake up, it's like, oh, no, you like girls. Because when they do that toward little girls, is when they tell me, when they manipulate me to get this nasty sexual stimulations, right? They then make me believe that this is what they make me experience. Sorry, this is what I experienced when I was a child. That this reaction is the reaction that you would experience when you were a child. So we are mapping this reaction toward little girls, because when you were a kid, this is how you will react to children, little girls. And so we're mapping you this way because this is what you will experience when you see little girls. And so they have these childlike individuals like, oh, you like little girls, I like girls. They try to disorient you, and then as soon as they say that, they start going to my brain and boxing the things they make me experience and how they wanted me to see things, because the way they twist the reality is just magical. But that's their job. They gotta make you accept this manipulation, because what was happening before, I knew exactly what was happening. They were making me have this nasty reaction, and then one day they were making me experience that toward little boys, and I was like, no, because you're saying that feeling that I'm experiencing, this is the thing that you say I experienced when I was a child, and this is toward little girls. That's what you're saying. So when you do that toward little boys, then it's just, that's not what, it just doesn't make sense, right? Because you're saying that this is what I experienced when I was a kid. That me experiencing this toward little girls is how I was experiencing things when I was a child myself. Right? I'm now understanding that they were just messing with me. So why is it happening here then, with this little boy? On top of that, you see a picture of me on my dating apps and whatever, with me holding a little boy. What happened there? You understand? So they're like, oh, so you like little girls? I said, no. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to say that me, when I was a kid, when I saw little girls, I experienced this, right? That's what you're saying. You mapped it, and they were making me think. Remember when you're a kid, when you saw little girls, you feel that, and they play with my brain to make me have a memory where I get the same stimulations in my childhood and me as a kid, right? This is how nonsensical this shit is. First of all, who makes somebody believe that, okay, well, it's going to make sense is we're going to say that we, and matter of fact, somebody literally said that you are like now 14 years old. They literally say these things with no shame. You know, I was looking at what do you call a man or woman who's an adult who thinks like a child? This is mental retardation. So you're saying you're making me a mentally retarded individual? Because you're saying that you're making me experience what I experienced when I was a child. That's the definition of mental retardation. That's not what they're doing. They're just making me believe that's what I experienced when I was a child. Because I didn't look at a child, a little girl, and feel stimulation, no. But they're trying to make me believe that's how I experienced when I was a kid. But on its own, you show the level of stupidity they want you to stoop to. Because that alone makes no sense. Let's just say it's true that when you're a kid, you experience something like that as a child. And you're close to your 40s. And I'm telling you, hey, you know that feeling, that reaction? Is a reaction you felt when you were 13, 14 years old. Matter of fact, we're going to go even younger. When you were 9 years old. You're close to 40. Let's just say you're 38 years old. What does it mean if you make me, a 38-year-old, react the way I reacted when I was 12 years old, 9 years old, 13, 14 years old? You're making me become a child. So even their logic is retardation, but the reality is not even that. They do the pedophilia type of torture. They make you have this disgusting pedophilia reaction. It's so nasty. 2 seconds ago, I'm looking at like picture frames, and there's a bunch of pictures of like families, kids. This little girl, adorable little girl. I don't know if you can see that. In my head, they're finding ways to try to rewire my reaction in a sexual way. This baby. This. Every time I look at, you know, the things they're making me experience, and they try to, they are gauging it in the sense of how to put too much or not, like what's too extreme. They, you know, what they try to do, is to find what is not too much or not, like to find the perfect amount of this reaction they want me to have. They're making me imagine because she's so cute and so. Try to like almost like biting her little arms because she's, you know, like when you see like a very cute like a kid with chubby legs or something like that. My sister has this thing, right? I remember that's why it brings me back to. It's like my sister when she sees like very cute babies with like chubby legs and like the rolls and everything, she'd be like, oh god, as I'm saying that, it almost broke my tooth. My teeth are falling out soon because they do this thing where they destroy the teeth. So as I did my tongue this to feel my tongue, if you still to feel my tooth, which is really fragile here, they did some pedophilia type. They rig things, they change things, rewire things, and so it's just such a disgusting way. Like she kept like she wanted to bite this baby's legs. Oh my gosh, so cute! Just look at the rolls, and so they kind of give me this kind of feeling, but then change into something sexual. And they are literally gauging how, like, what, like, it's just, like, this reaction, engaging when to add, like, sexual, it's ridiculous. They are truly finding the precise way to get you to experience something and make you feel like it's organic. And then you have these perps saying all these random things. You're going to be raped, you're going to be tortured. Oh, they're feeling you, they're going to torture you, they're going to... Via V2K. Because as I speak this, they want you to identify with this nastiness. They don't want you to see that they're obviously doing something to my brain to trying to find the perfect way to make me react and feels like it's natural. So they send these childlike individuals that I showed on this picture to try to disorient you, because that's their job, and they want you to accept these things. With me, there's going to be, I think, in their mind, for method acting, they need to stay in character. So sometimes the mistake they try to make is when we're in person and they think that I don't know, or I even have doubts that I'm not being manipulated to experience this nastiness. They want to stay in that character, and I'm like, you're going to make that mistake, because I'm going to humiliate you. I know who's the pedophiles. You are trying to make me accept this manipulation that are very pedophile-centric. Because you work for these governmental entities that is using test subjects that are human to manipulate them to experience this nastiness. You are one of these many, many trash the government utilize to implement this nastiness. And you're just a loser, a little weak bottom feeder who finds empowerment in participating in this human experimentation, not even a human experimentation, utilizing human test subjects by these governmental entities. You know, I heard, obviously I know the DoD is involved, especially DARPA. Even on their website, you can go through like what they go through, like the different technology they have. DARPA is very secretive. There's a lot. It's just close to this like CIA level in regard of information that is not for the public. A lot. Like it's shrouded. Like one of the article I was reading is like it's shrouded, or read the title. The DARPA is shrouded by secrecy. It's a level of like there's so much unknown there. There's so much stuff not aware of. We're not aware, but because they're working on the most advanced technology you can ever imagine. They are light years, like they're so far ahead. You know, they were working on drones in the 80s. Drones. We just started hearing about drones in 2010 or something? 2009? In the 80s. They were working on that. They are so ahead of us. So, what we're going to know about DARPA today are things they've been working on for decades and decades. We will be always behind those kind of governmental military entities. So, but if you go to their website, they give you a little hint here and there that they work on this and that in a very, very, very extremely sugar-coated way. Extremely. And they make it sound like this, like just, well, we're doing this and that. It make it seem like it's just like, we were working on this electromagnetic, and you know they're like way past that. It's like, imagine when they're working on drones in the 80s or even the 70s. And it's like, no, we're just starting to like, think about the idea of what can we, like, while they're already like in full mode functioning and doing so much with it. It's like we're still working, and then like, oh, in 2000, we're getting close to it when they've been done since the 80s. It's so far ahead of mainstream, so far, like it's just scary. And who knows? It was probably even before the 80s they're working on this kind of device, and we just started hearing about drones in late 2000s. So my point is, when you go to their website, go to DARPA. It's called the Defense Advanced Research Program Agency. Project Agency is one of the, well, they call it the brain of the Pentagon. They're the one coming with the most advanced research technology. It's just really things are super science fictional, even in the things that we know. We talk about cyborg, like insects and stuff like that. Like this is the things that we're talking about. In the 60s, they had this project called Project Pandora. And in the 60s, 65, listen to what it was. But of course, I know that they involve. I didn't know there was an actual official program in regard of like the ability to manipulate the mind using electromagnetics. I didn't know there was like an actual like on paper program where apparently they were just experimenting. They didn't get too much results. Well, in reality, they were way ahead. Let me see. So I'm saying that they try to manipulate things. So this is
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this.
This is in the 60s, huh? And apparently ended in 69. And let me just say that they were the effect of low-level electromagnetic radiation, like some kind of microwave, in the 60s. And they ended. And they're still, of course, working on different devices, but they're making less. Well, now they're not talking about like electromagnetic. They're not talking about too much about the remote aspect of manipulating people, but they're saying like in a very sugar-coated way that they're still working on how they can read and write the brain. But they're way ahead. This is in the 60s. In the 60s, it's almost correlating with the CIA program, MKultra program. So they have been working, together. It's obvious who's running this program, and it's obvious what this is about. It's about it's about controlling the brain, but they control that already very, very, very precisely. But they are just tweaking around, just like I said, like this little girl, tweaking around my brain, how they can make it seem less obvious. To be honest, right now they didn't go full on. Huh? They still try to play. Sometimes it's just like so intense. Wow, just disgusting. Last time, the first time I saw this picture, it was just an intense feeling. It was just a boom. It's like, no, but you felt like that. And then I look at the picture, I'm like, well, no. Look at this baby again. It's like, no, I know this is the nasty things they make me experience. And they're like, no, but you felt like that when you were a kid. And then make me remember me like in primary school. I'm talking about pre-teen, like 9, 10 years old, even younger. Like, no, but then you feel. Can you imagine being a grown man and being told like, no, we're just when you were a kid, like. Do you understand? A child brain is not fully developed. You gotta look as a man when he's an adult, because that's when the brain is finally like, especially when you're talking about this young, pre-high school, like early teens and pre-teens, as young as third grader. And so because they can play with that a lot, because during that time of your life as a child, there's so much things going on. Especially boys, you have so much weird things coming, experiencing as testosterone things. Your brain is just like, you get like this weird reaction sometimes, like some stimulation. As a boy, when you're like humping the chairs and so they like use these things to try to make you accept what you're experiencing today. As an adult, you've been an adult long enough at this point to know who exactly you are, to know what's going to make you react a certain way. This nastiness that they make you experience, and then like, oh, no, but you felt like that when you were a kid. I've not been a kid for a long time. I've been me long enough to know who I am as an adult. I know who I am, and this nasty reaction is disgusting, because this thing is endearing, it's wholesome. I love to watch content where there's little babies and little girls, little boys too. This is a wholesome stuff. This is the things that will make me feel. Listen, I know my imperfections, right? If I wanted to go away from anything that makes me feel unperfect, this is the kind of stuff I would love to watch. With little babies, little girls, little boys, like little wholesome like story like this, like it brings like the purity out of me, in the sense of like, it doesn't bring up the the things that one might consider vices. But now it's been rigged in ways that turns into nasty pedophilia. I think where now they test seeing children. Children to me is just like the most, like, I'm so disturbed by them because of what this program has done to my brain, to manipulate me to experience this nasty. Like, I detest seeing children. I truly detest it just because it's so traumatizing. This is what brings me the most fear. You know, they tell me how they're gonna frame me, and they tell me the frame are gonna be very, as you said, as I said before, as I mentioned, pedophilia centric. Pedophilia is just truly what they use for as tools in many ways to disturb us. They say they're gonna plant child porn. They have obviously access to all my devices really easily, can do whatever they want to all my devices. I mean, we're talking about the mind being hacked, so devices being hacked are nothing, right? It's just really easy. And they say they're going to plant child porn. You know, these people who are ranked top tier in regard, consistently ranked top tier in regard of child porn, and try to sound fierce doing that. It's so disgusting. That's why I'm saying I'm so thankful. I am so thankful that my life didn't end up like that, where I'm now trying to talk about how I'm gonna implant child porn and you're gonna be fearful. You'll be scared. We're gonna plant child porn, and they use this childlike retards who even try to agitate you when they say these pedophilia issues that is ongoing, these entities, and try to say that we're gonna implant child porn. You know, this trash is gonna be forever. It's never gonna be the same. Especially when I'm validated that these people have pedophilia issues. The same people with issue with pedophilia, child porn, are telling you they're gonna implant child porn. Now I don't know if that's the route they're gonna go. If that's not it, they're gonna say that they said to me that they're gonna have the children here say that I've done things to them. And they've orchestrated these whole scenarios and things, storylines. Apparently that they're gonna make it seem like I've been interacting with these kids, and I've been with these kids, and we met together, we've been on some story. I'm here. But because they have the access to my phone and everything else, who knows what can happen right now in my phone. They can probably send messages back and forth and make it look like I'm actually interacting with this trash. And then, like, they tell me when we see each other, we're gonna perform. We're gonna be like, oh, this kid is gonna cry, like, oh, we've been talking. This is the low life. Thank God I don't live this life. Imagine I'm coercing children to do that. Obviously, these retards, they are kids. So somebody's guiding them to say what they need to say. Imagine I'm one of these people who participate in coercing this childlike minded, these childlike people, these kids. I could live like them. They are nasty bottom feeders. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. Stay strong. See things for what they are. You know, in my head, they're just trying to find ways to just disrupt me. But I've made a lot of videos about reality. I would recommend for all target individuals, just watch the last video I made. You'll see the picture of a father and his little baby. And yesterday they did this thing where they forced me to get this reaction because the father is a victim to a mass shooting of a TI. The last year's largest mass shooting was a target individual. He killed 18 people, right? The father died in this, and I donated money to the family just to also make a point that this bottom feeders are participant in the program that caused these things. So this baby will never have a father, or will never know her real father. And this is the trash involved in this program, right? And they use these weak bottom feeders that, you know, empowerment is too good. They're going to continuously live in this fantasy. And so I want to bring that up and make sure that they see that I know what this trash truly are. So when they try to method acting in front of me, understand that this is reality. And please, do not make that mistake. And so they made me have this reaction, this stimulation. Like, now we mapped it to you when you were a kid. And then they talk about, when I was in middle school, I did this dumb thing to myself. It was an impulsive moment of me as a child. It never happened again. It's like when a child grabs a rock and throw a rock to a glass or something, just never happens again. And they're like, no, but see, we're making you feel these impulses. No. I never looked at a rock wanting to grab a rock and throw it through a glass. But once I did that, I grabbed a rock and threw it, and never happened again. It's like, no, that's you. And they try to like, no, that's abuse what you did as a kid. Like, they are, and then you listen to the testimonies, because the test subjects are not only men and women. They torture children. Listen to the testimonies of these women and men and who dealing with seeing their children being tortured by these bottom feeders, abusing them with this Department of Defense technology for the purpose, of course, of this program, for the scientific purposes, I guess. And it's horrible. And they want me to just see things in this retarded way, in this childlike minded way, in this like illogical way, when they are here torturing children, abusing them in so many horrible ways. Want me to think about me as a middle schooler, a child who did something to myself, and having to even exaggerate that, while they're in a program literally using Department of Defense technology to do some of the most harmful things you can imagine to a child. So, target and vigil, stay strong, see things for what they are. Do not identify with the manipulations. You know yourself. You've been yourself long enough to know who you are. These bottom feeders are trying to make you accept this manipulation that this technology is supposed to do. You heard this. They have a long legacy, these entities, to learn on how to manipulate the brain. And they use these tactics systematically. I can bring again the testimonies of the pedophilia type of torture, all the same thing that you're going to hear, the consistency in regard of how they do these manipulations. They are trash and cowards who've enjoyed this empowerment of these governmental entities, empowering them to feel like gods, because in the reality they're just nothings that works for these governmental entities that are doing foul things to even their own citizens, to children, to women. And these clowns over there doing the trashy things that they're supposed to do. What you expect from a trash? So to all my target individuals, stay strong.